Okay, we're back from our closed session. And City Attorney, do we have any reportable action tonight?
No reportable action, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. With that, we will adjourn the special meeting at 5 o'clock and we will reconvene for the regular city council meeting at 6 p.m. All right, we're going to get started. Everybody, welcome to the Selma City Council regular meeting. It's December 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Alaskan City Council chambers. The Selma City Council chambers at 1710 Tucker Street. That joke wasn't funny. A closed session, not really funny now. Selma, California, 93662. The teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. The webinar ID is 891-6864-5005. When on the phone, if you wish to address the council during the public comment portion of the agenda, press star 9 to raise your hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press star 6 to unmute and mute yourself. Notice to meeting attendees, members of the audience shall not engage in disorder.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Well, hey, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos.
Here.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Agenda changes or deletions to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation. Items on the agenda may not be presented or acted on in the order listed. Additions to the agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code, Section 54954.2B. City Attorney, do we have any such changes or deletions tonight?
Nothing to add or to delete, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. On to oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Do we have any oral communications at this time? Do we have anybody online or on the phone with any input they would like to give at this time?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
With that, thank you. We'll move on to our consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar category are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote. For purposes of the discussion, any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and made part of the regular agenda. The council can then approve the remainder of the consent calendars. Council have an item or items they would like removed from the consent calendar tonight.
Mayor, I'm removing 1.1.
Thank you. Anybody else with any other items? Is there a? Okay.
1-2.
And I'll make a motion to approve 1-3 and 1-4.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item 1.
Okay, on page, looks like it's page 8, and it's check number 88386, and it says HR Internal Affairs Investigation on September, looks from 9/1 to 9/30, in the amount of $9,352.50. Was that just for that month? Do we know?
Or on a quarterly basis, we get a bill from the RMA for any claims that we have pending in IRMA. And so that's a quarterly payment that we pay for any investigations. And so that would have been the prior 3 months.
quarterly, okay. And then just little below that, there's another check number. And it looks like it's 88311. And it is for Axon Enterprises PD tasers for the amount of 31,306.32. And I know I brought this up before. I just was wondering, wouldn't that be a grant from like our Measure S for safety?
Good evening, Councilmember Garrett. I believe that does come out of the Measure S funding source under maintenance agreements.
Okay, so we could put a G or a for Measure S, right?
Measure S is
For safety.
right.
It's not grant funded.
It's not a grant. Measure S is our tax that we collect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the only two I have. Thank you.
I got just a couple tonight. One would be the page 8, 88404 mini excavator rental from Quinn. Is that something that we should be buying, get an excavator, or is that just like one-off deal or what?
No, it's ultimately, we will be looking, Mr. Mayor, to procure that piece of equipment, but we needed it for the dig outs for the asphalt on High Street.
Oh.
So that was a temporary rental for that project.
Thank you. And then page 14, good to see our city engineer tonight. This is regarding the engineering report. It's the City of Selma billing summary. And there are a couple projects. One is the AB 74 storm drain project. The other is the Mill Street and Orange Avenue Park Ride lot. And just looking at the percentage of completion, it's over 100%. So what does it mean for a project to be over 100% complete?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. So those two, specifically, the AB 74 project was a grant from the state of California. And so the numbers that are in this table are based on the initial numbers provided either through that grant or through the federal funding. And then, so that AB 74, there's local match money, and as we go out to bid and you approve the award of the contract for construction, all of the actual numbers for construction management, and the contingency are included in that report. So this table is a summary that kind of shows where we're at based on the estimate of the initial, when the projects were created. So either it's over from the construction management when the projects take longer or require additional change orders or issues. AB 74 was the Valley View Storm Drain Project. We ran into an issue with where Cal Water had their water line. It all got resolved. The project was completed, but it took longer to deal with that issue during construction. So I think that would be where the additional costs are for that. And then the Mill and Orange Avenue Park Ride, those numbers are based on the application and estimate provided to, that's a CMAQ project, I believe. And during the design, the change, the layout of the parking lot and requirements for charger stations and different layouts from the landscape architect, when we work with the city manager and the community development, but that design is just taking longer than what initially was estimated with the funding application.
When I see it's over 100% complete, that just means it's taking longer and costing more than it was originally estimated.
Estimated or applied for funding, correct?
It's going over the applied for funding.
Yeah.
And it's being contributed to and by other accounts,
Right.
by other
Yeah.
sources.
So then when we bring it to council for approval of construction, or when the bid is actually bid, that's when we'll discuss the funds and if you're allotting certain funds for that project.
So the park and ride is that triangle behind the Selma PD?
Correct.
Okay. And it's at 108%. So that's going to be developed into a parking lot and charging station where members of the public can park or just city employees?
No, it's a public park and ride facility.
It's going to add additional parking spaces that'll be available for folks who come to High Street or come to other areas downtown. Is that correct?
Correct. And there's a bus stop that's proposed, that was supposed to be done with this project, that's going to be installed next to that
That's
parking
the
lot.
ride part.
So people can get off and get on the bus. Yep.
Thank you. Anybody with any other items?
Yeah, I have one, actually, actually for the fire department, which is, oh yeah, the repairs on the 88346. That's the, I guess it must be the ambulance repair. It was $2,067.57. It's not the same, ambulance, is it? It's been repaired before, has it been, Chief?
The particular ambulances that this check was for was ambulance 552 and 554. I don't have the list in front of me for the items, but the fleet of ambulances that we have, there's 6 ambulances, and those ambulances accrue a significant amount of mileage on a regular basis. And so they're in for preventative maintenance, per what's recommended by the manufacturer, and then also due to the mileage that they incur, they're subject to repairs, just
Yeah.
based on the heavy
Is that
usage
two,
that they have.
those two numbers, that's two ambulance on repair?
Yeah, that is correct. The identifiers are
Oh,
552
okay.
and
I
554.
just want to clarify that, like there's, thanks, Chief.
Yep, absolutely.
Is that good?
It's good.
Oh, real quick, city engineer, what's the estimated completion date for that park and ride?
Don't have the federal FTIP in front of me that has which fiscal years. So I believe this fiscal year is completion of the design. And the next fiscal year would be the construction, that we can request construction funds from the federal government.
So
That
the
would be my guess.
108% we were seeing is just, it's just where we are up to the design so far.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve item 11. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yes.
Item 12.
Yeah, I just wanted to, this is what we discussed with the monument's gonna be the one with the bear on it. I know we got some pictures and stuff on the,
That is correct.
yeah, it's a bear.
And we do have A&M here for that discussion if you have specific questions related to that.
Sure, they can.
Welcome back.
Nice to be here. Yeah, so today really, as part of the Caltrans encroachment application, because we are putting it on Caltrans right away on the off-ramp. The first requirement is that we present it to City Council and you guys take a look at it, comment it, which we did last time. And there was comments about adding a flag and adding a different type of bear. So we did both of those. There is renders in the staff report. With the additional American flag. We actually went through the hoops process with Public Works Director and Caltrans to get that approval of the flag, and we got that approval. So yeah, now is the final phase of the Caltrans approval process, which is adopting it to a resolution and then finally submitting it and then approving the final encroachment permit to get the project going and out to bid. So that's the only pending item.
And that's just for the monument part.
Yeah, so the project in completion, so it would be, yeah.
Would be the entire Second Street project.
Second Street
from
revitalization.
West front all the way to the 99.
Okay.
Correct.
So the only thing that's holding up that project going into construction right now is just the Caltrans encroachment permit.
Actually, we're not really being held up, Mr. Mayor. We're going through the process right now. That's why Javier is here from A&M, and it's on the agenda for consent. And once the council has approved it, he can submit that to Caltrans for their final review and approval. And then we can actually get into the process of putting it out for bid.
Great.
So
I see those guys at COG every month. So if there's any time you ever need any of us to help out with that, just let us know. It's gonna be a great project. Everyone's really looking forward to this.
Yes, I agree.
Please, if you
Can't
could.
Here, I have a quick question.
Yeah,
Now it's gonna look like this. These are the samples.
those are the renders of
Then
of what's gonna
This
look
is
like.
very nice.
Yes, it's very
Yeah,
beautiful.
really hope it looks like that.
Yeah, it's gonna look exactly like that. Actually, we were very, as a team, we've been trying to make sure that what we presented to council was exactly what it's gonna look
Yeah.
like, because we didn't want to misrepresent it. But yes,
Right.
that's exactly what it's gonna look like.
You guys did a great job. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Oh,
Anybody want to make a comment on this?
Teresa Salas. In a couple of the pictures, you see the other side and it's all landscaped really pretty with grass and all that stuff. Is that how it's gonna be on that side too? When it shows you're getting off the freeway on that side, but see how on this side it's all landscaped and really pretty? I was just wondering if it's really gonna look like that on that side too.
The renderings that were provided are the depiction of the project that's been designed.
So that's yes. How you feel? Anybody online or on the phone with a question or a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
And motion to approve?
Second? All right, call the roll, please.
Guys, who second?
Councilman Trio.
Thank you. Councilman Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Moving on from the consent calendar tonight to departmental reports, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Just a few items to report tonight. So 2 weeks in, settling nice into the office, meeting with our department heads, various stakeholders, attending some of our events such as Central Valley Training Center graduation and the senior Thanksgiving lunch. And so it's really nice going along and getting a lot of information. So that's really fun. On the community development side, the community development director position has been advertised and is closing on December 18th. And then we also completed interviews for a city planner and have tendered an offer of employment to them. And then finally, I also wanted to congratulate the cast and crew of A Christmas Story on a successful closing. I was able to attend with my family. It was a very fun show to watch. And for those who are listening, if you can ever attend a art show, Selma Arts Center show, please do, because they do an amazing job.
Sure do.
Thank
Good,
you.
good to have you. Thanks for your report. Are we coming back to you for community services or was that community?
Yeah,
services
that was
as well?
community in there.
Okay, great. Moving on to our PIO Communications Director, Jose Moreno.
Mayor, members of the council, I have a brief slide to share with everybody in regards to Small Business Saturday. As you know, Small Business Saturday was organized by the Downtown Selma Business Improvement District. It was to encourage folks to come downtown and shop our local shops downtown and shop the craft fair that we organized in the parking lot next to Robertson Guerra. It involves a lot of social media posts, some video content, and some television hits on Great Day Fox 26. They kind of covered it to show what we're doing. What you're seeing on the screen is the results and the outcomes of the efforts we put into it. This is all provided courtesy of Placer AI. I've been doing a kind of a deep dive into what the power of that software. One of the things I want to point off the top, it's not a precise head count. Placer AI gives you an estimate of how many folks are around based on anonymous data. So it's not tracking people by name and who they are. It's just saying that there's cell phone signals coming from this area. So it gathers it and it comes with an estimate of how many folks are in that space. So it's kind of a clearer picture of what Placer AI is. So in the example of Small Business Saturday, I wanted to compare 2024 to 2025. And on the screen, you're going to see on the far left, the little icon of the family. We had 1,000 visitors in 2024. In 2025, we had 1,700 folks come in. So that's an increase of 700 people. Placer AI said it was a 112% increase from the year to year, comparing those two dates. You go down to the next bullet point, it's the dwell time. That means how long they're hanging out downtown. In 2024, it's 61 minutes. This Saturday, it was 108 minutes. So that's something that we can take into consideration, that the quality of their visits are longer. They're hanging out, they're staying more, which means they're probably walking through, shopping and engaging with folks. It's not an interaction where like I'm running an errand and I'm leaving. So that's something we can gather from this data. And the last thing you kind of see is the top places that people attended. It was the craft fair, and the Maiden Voyage, My Vintage, Thrift Boutique, Nelson's Hardware, and Beat Central. That little corner seemed to gain the most amount of traction during this particular event. And this is all provided through Placer AI. We want to know who came out here, who visited us. Last year in 2024, 30% of the folks who visited were from Selma, and this year it's 44. So we saw that increase of people locally knowing about the event and showing up for it. One of the other bullet points at the bottom you're going to see is that we had folks from Fresno. 9% of our visitors were from Fresno, and it wasn't like that in the previous years. So that kind of shows like the wider range we're able to reach the surrounding cities. So you're going to see Fowler, Kingsburg, Greeley, Parlier, Tulare. They all had about 7%, 5%, and 4% kind of visiting our space. So I just wanted to present a real quick engagement of what Placer AI can do, and how we can use that data to improve our marketing and our attending our events, but also for business purposes. We can show this is how many folks are coming to this space or this business district in a matter of a day, or we could check it out in a matter of a year. So it's really powerful. I just wanted to bring that to your attention for this particular event and a microcosm event that we did on Saturday. And just to wrap it up, I really appreciate the work that the Selma Downtown Business Improvement Board did. I appreciate you being there, Mayor, from beginning to end and helping set up all the local businesses who donated gifts, all the board members who donated gifts and helped share on social media. It was really helpful to make this event successful.
Thank you, Comms Director. You were there beginning to end. You designed it. You thought of it. You had a great idea with the raffle, because really the raffle brought a lot of people in. It brought a lot of people in, kind of like the free hot chocolate. That brought a lot of people in. It was cold that morning.
Yeah.
And the cookies. And people hung around for the drawing as well. And there were a lot of gifts there. And that was a great idea. And that was your idea to put that in there. So that really kept people there. And it was nice seeing all the community turnout that we had for this, as well as people from outside the city. But, I'm just going to say this in my comments, but I'll say it now. When you had these people that are they have these home craft businesses. I mean, there are people making like packages that look like 49er helmets or Giants caps or Dodger caps that are actually packages to get things in. Really creative people that make these out of their house that don't have storefronts. And they were there, and hopefully someday they'll have a business. They're seeing how it is. All they had to buy was really a business license that day.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the future, the city could maybe even expand that event. And, with stats like this from Placer AI, the city could charge accordingly on that as well. So, I mean, it's a great thing to have these stats and to know that events like this are working. And just being out there for this was a real honor, representing Selma. Rose, my wife, was there, representing Selma Cemetery District and the bid. She's a bid board member as well. And it was a good morning all around, and a good day. And we were only there 10 to 1:30 to 2 p.m. So it was not the whole day. So thank you for that. All right. Any other comments?
Oh, yeah, I have a question for him. Jose, on that, the events, on the turnout, on the events, on the people, was that the same day that they had that event last year?
So Small Business
Different
Saturday
time.
falls on the Saturday after Black Friday every year. So I made sure to get that exact date. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so we're comparing apples to apples this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just clarified that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Good point.
Okay, thank you.
And there's a lot of concern that some of these pop-ups that come up are actually taking business from those who are responsible enough to have businesses and buy their insurance and have all these operating expenses. They did well that day too. As you see from the stats, people went and visited the businesses in Selma.
And I want to piggyback on that comment, is that we have a known vendor throughout Selma who sells paparazzi jewelry. She's been to almost every one of the Selma events. She now is inside Marketplace's boutique as a vendor inside of a business. So she went from the pop-up to being inside of a brick and mortar. So we're kind of facilitating that gravitation towards expanding small businesses and making sure that they're reaching a wider audience.
I think we had probably the city's youngest business owner, of the pen company, and she got a business license and talked to her mom and dad, and they said, just refer to my daughter. She knows all the pricing and all that. So she's a budding business person and entrepreneur there, and she was learning right there, boots on the ground on Saturday. It was a great experience. Right.
I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Okay, moving on, Police Chief Alcaraz.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Just a quick update. Flock will be installing cameras beginning this week and next week. So over the next few weeks, should have several cameras installed. And that is all.
Thank you, Chief. Public Works Director Hahn.
I have a couple of things real quick, Mr. Mayor. Both of them are traffic updates for upcoming work. So on Thursday, the 4th, Caltrans, between the hours of 8:15 a.m. and 2:15 p.m., will have the southbound off-ramp at 99 and 2nd Street closed for asphalt maintenance work. And that same day, we will be over on Merced, Wright, and Logan Streets with Cal Water while they're doing repairs to their main replacement project that they just completed. That project, the paving that will happen on Thursday, might have a minimal impact for pickup at Garfield Elementary. So I've kind of passed that information around. The PIO has it, city manager has it. So those are the two things that I had for tonight, and that's all. Thank you.
I have a question for you. Do you know when we're gonna finish downtown High Street?
So yes, we're going to start pulling those plates and backfilling underneath them probably Monday of this next week. My intent is still to have those things repaired before the end of December.
And what about the rock or whatever we're gonna, there's a lot of weeds growing already in it.
Yeah, well, we have to clean them up and put weed barrier in before we backfill the planters. What I'm trying to get done is get all of the steel plates off of the sidewalk. So discussion still needs to happen, is going to still have to happen about what we want to put in the planter. So my intent is to get the steel plates off the sidewalk by the end of December and have that concrete work completed.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some samples brought for next meeting so we can look at them and so.
Yes, sir.
Quick question there. Oh, thank you for going out and seeing that operation over there where Joe's sidewalk is, and thank you for, he reached out, he says, thank you, told me to thank you. Look at the area and facilitate how to get it done, and you're getting it done. They still have to go back and finish it, I see. Now, on that particular, there's an area right there, I notice, I have pictures on my phone, by the way. There's an area right there by the alley. There's a telephone pole and they stop. Can you address that a little bit there?
Yeah, so that's what I addressed with Joe when I went out and met with them. And it was very easy to explain to him that in order for us to complete that connection all the way across the alley to the other side, two things need to happen. And the most important of those two things is that telephone pole that's right in that alignment on that right of way has to be moved back into the alley about 8 feet. Going through that process with PG&E, we look up that pole, you see all the cables on there. There's PG&E, there's telephone, there's cable TV. Coordinating that and getting that moved so we can complete that project is going to happen, but that's going through the process at the mercy and the speed of PG&E. So that will be completed, but some work has to happen before that. When we have grant funding for CDBG projects, we have to get out and get those projects done. Right now, we're trying to really expedite it because there might be some more lingering money in CBDG CDBG that we can still obtain to either complete a different, more project or maybe use it for some little touches on what we're currently working on. And that's coming from information from a meeting that the city engineer and I had with the county of Fresno about 2 weeks ago. There's a couple of cities that have opted out of the funding, and so there's some money laying there. So we're still going after all of it. The project will be completed eventually with that piece. But again, going through the PUC and trying to get them to get their work done has to happen before we can finish it.
Okay, on that note, I look at the pole right next to the alley, and you know, is there a way to kind of like you have it over here at the, off of the Golden State, where you have to kind of, the sidewalk kind of bends a little bit?
It's called
Goes back.
meandering, and yeah, we don't really typically want to do that. And the pole is only one piece of that. If you look at the alley approach, there is no 4-foot ADA wraparound on that driveway approach. So to
No, there is
complete
no,
that,
you're right, there is no
so to
ADA,
complete that under ADA,
but
what the regulations call for us to do, that also needs to be addressed. So there's a couple of pieces right there that need to happen to finish that project.
and then on the other side, connecting, there's cement sidewalk on the other side of the alley that's connected, and that's connected. If you
That's
notice
correct.
that-
As soon as Councilmember Avalos, as soon as the poles move and we rebuild the driveway approach and connect that last little piece, that will be fully connected to the next block.
Now, the other question on that, that's gonna take some time. I mean, to move those wires and the, electrical wires and those cable wires as well. So we're looking at, I mean, you still have an issue where there's there's a grass, the sidewalk ends, then the grass, and then the driveway. And I tell myself, okay, if you're in a wheelchair or vice versa, from coming into town and go on that sidewalk, you might get stuck on the grass.
So one thing that we are not allowed to do when we're engineering that stuff is we cannot direct path of travel. Even if we wandered the sidewalk around to the driveway approach, we're still out of compliance because now we're directing foot traffic to the alley driveway approach that does not meet ADA requirements.
Well,
So by stopping it where we stopped it, there is no path of travel from there to the approach.
see, but at the same time, I look at the city's liability issue on that particular patch, tripping and falling. I don't know how we're gonna mitigate that issue there,
So I go in with my crew and I can build a dirt ramp at the
Yeah.
end of the sidewalk, so it's not a trip fall hazard, which should be done by the contractor actually when they
Okay.
complete the project. We'll be making sure that those things are addressed, Councilmember Avalos. But the other thing is that we have a lot of other areas in Salazar neighborhood that also need connectivity work done. So thus the other money that's laying there that we're trying to
And
get for
you're
that.
right,
So
because that area, it's been, over a lot of time, it's been neglected, The only time they got something done way back in the days was the alleys were done and few sidewalks were done because the money was available back then, not as much, but they got it done. I mean, the alleys are a lot better than way back then where they were now, but where the trucks can go through there now. But I know the sidewalks, they've been neglected over the years. I get it. That area is where the town started and the city of Selma way back then, the days. So people live there. And I feel that, as an old saying, you have to go back and fix the old side because the new side's okay. We just have to concentrate on fixing the old, then move on and then continue that way, the path. That's how we, fix things that we're supposed to fix logically. And I think you're on the right track. And I thank you for going out and talking to him. He was very appreciative. And he told me to thank you personally.
no problem.
I just have a comment on that. I want to say thank you too. With Mr. Gonzalez, who told me he was the mayor of the barrio. So
So they
You know,
work
he
it out.
takes that title seriously, you know, if you ever talk to him. So I went over there and looked at it and I said, well, you know, I don't know anything about this. So I called, Justin, oh my gosh, so sorry. Jason. And, he said, you know, I'll get somebody over there. And I guess he talked to you and, I spoke to Mr. Gonzalez, today actually. And he said there was a gentleman that showed up before you did. I guess it must have been the person in charge of the project or the engineer or something. But he said the conversation he had with him wasn't very, very nice. So he wanted to get the name of the person because he's gonna file something on that guy.
So I discussed that, and I also gave my apologies on behalf of the city staff for any verbal debate or whatever happened out there. I wasn't a witness to it. I just heard his comments regarding that, and I'm having discussions to figure out who that person was. I'm not sure who that person was, to be honest with you. So I can tell you it was not public works staff, so.
It was another, I think it must have been from the person in charge of the project. Because the guy came in gangbusters, you know, and, I told the guy, you know, nobody deserves to be treated like that. So I think the worker's gonna get him the name of the person that came over.
Yeah, and I'm trying to address that as well.
Yeah, so we can expect something coming from the mayor.
Understood.
Director Hahn, I have one question. I was asked if this is possible, if businesses want to donate a Christmas tree, you know, just with lights, and put it on where you put the trees with lights, you know, because they're still small, would that be possible?
Speaking about High Street,
Yep.
so putting a Christmas tree where exactly now? In one of the new planter areas?
Right.
I think that they're definitely the one that's down closest to the Maiden Voyage parking lot.
Mhm.
And that's a pretty big open space where that tree's at. I'm sure that, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if council wants to give direction through the city manager to have us go down there and facilitate them doing, I have no problem with that. Again, I will bring recommendations for what we're gonna infill those planners with at the next council meeting
Okay.
on the 16th, and we can go from there, but I don't have a problem. I love Christmas.
Okay.
The more
It's-
Christmas trees and lights, the better.
It's also something that the bid could, you know, coordinate as well, and have that group,
Okay.
work on that and
Yeah.
work with those that want to donate.
I thought that was a great idea, you
Yes.
know,
No, don't.
just to,
Because they're not really grown right now. We've got the sort of Charlie Brown Christmas tree effect right now, and if we could put a couple of other more mature Christmas trees in there, it would look really cool. It'd be really nice and show you what they are going to look like soon. But
well,
they're just
they're
not there yet.
actually artificial. I mean, they're not real trees.
Right, but they'll
I
be,
mean,
they'll be a little more fuller
yes,
than,
yes.
than the trees we have right now.
Well, and we do,
festive
just
for-
keep in mind too, we do have receptacles at each one of those locations to plug in
Right.
for lights or whatever if they
That's what
want
they were
new
saying.
lights.
Yeah, is there any way to get it done before, the next meeting? Because, next meeting can be pretty close to Christmas, so I don't think you're gonna get the full effect if you only have it there for a couple of days.
Well, yeah, if you have anybody who wants to do that, if that you want to direct them my way, then we can start coordinating with them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Just one issue on the planters. There've been some people that have hit the tree wells, you know, they're getting used to where they are. Been some people commenting on, well, they should be painted a different color or they should be striped. Should people just get used to them? And they'll see where they are in High Street.
Yeah, we typically don't paint curbs unless it's a red, green, or yellow curb for parking reasons. They're just the black tire marks.
You could see the black tire
Yes,
marks.
you
Cars
can.
are just hitting
Yeah,
them right
it's
now.
just a
They're not
matter
used
of
to them.
getting used to them, and people will get used to them eventually, so.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have public comment? Did I see something in the public? Do we have any comment on the Christmas tree issue or anything? No? Okay. We'll move back to our Parks and Community Services Director, Liz Bletcher.
Mayor and members of the council. A few things that I wanted to update you on is we have officially promoted Matthew Tiger as Recreation Supervisor effective as yesterday. And so when you see him, feel free to congratulate him. Currently working on backfilling his position as well. And so hopefully we can have a resolution on that soon. The other thing I wanted to update on was the 5K color run. Put some wonderful pictures up on the screen for us. It was a wonderful time. So Adventist Health was our major sponsor for this event, and so we colored the street blue. Not on purpose. Last year we used the exact same color, but for whatever reason this year that blue is not going away just yet. So we're gonna have to wait for a little bit of rain to hit us. I'm sorry, Public Works. I'm sorry, downtown businesses, but it looks really nice.
It was on the buildings too.
Yes, and so the color did get everywhere and clearly all over or the runners as well. And so it was a wonderful time. Staff did a wonderful job at coordinating. Public Works did a great job of assisting us on that morning. And then Director Moreno got some really good images for us. And so hopefully we get a video soon. Yeah. Got some really good extinguishers that shot a lot of blue.
A lot of energy.
Other than that, I wanted to invite you guys all out to our annual Grinchmas event that's taking place December 13th. And so we'll be out on High Street, downtown Selma, with some local pop-up vendors, food vendors, and then we're also allowing, giving downtown businesses the opportunity to stay open and have some sales right before Christmas. The Grinch is scheduled to make an appearance. And then we will have the pictures with Santa across the street at the Veterans Plaza as well. And so it's a really good community event. We'll be out there from 11 to 3. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you very much. With that, we will, what's that?
It's a deputy city manager.
Deputy City Manager Fowler, do we have, not tonight. So we'll talk to you about that later, Councilman. All right, we'll move on to new business. Our first item is item 3.1. It's consideration of resolution 2025-127R approving the purchase of a new medic specialty vehicles type 3 Ford E350 ambulance via the HGAC Purchasing Cooperative totaling $271,923.36 and authorization for the city manager or designee to execute all necessary associated documents. Report, please, City Fire Chief.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for getting through that mouthful.
It was a long one.
Yeah. For your consideration this evening is the purchase of a new ambulance, which is the short version of that. This is a similar staff report that you saw and approved back in September of this year. It's the same model of ambulance. The one that was approved in September, we anticipate receiving in April of 2026. And this is for the order of an ambulance that we would receive in the spring of 2027. And so due to just the long lead times in the purchase of these ambulances, in order to get our name on a chassis to be constructed in a year and some change from now, we need to approve the purchase of this tonight. The funding for this will be coming out of the ambulance fund, and it will be part of the 26-27 fiscal year budget. So there's no budget amendment necessary for this current fiscal year. And I want to also add that this is the purchase of an ambulance annually is one of the items that we consider as our operational expenses for that department. So it's considered in our operational budget annually. For our fleet, we currently have 6 ambulances that are online. And as you see on a regular basis, there are significant maintenance costs associated with that. Some of our fleet is getting towards the end of their service life. And so our fleet replacement, there will be years where we'll have to purchase 2 ambulances at a time, but for this year and the second and the following year, the one you're considering tonight, we'll just need the one. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions about the specifics. Again, this is the same make model of the one that was approved in September. We are utilizing HGAC as the purchasing cooperative to satisfy our procurement policies. The only difference is a $1,500 change in price over the last 3 months, which was a cause due to the loading and the loading mechanism for the gurney and the gurney itself. There was a price increase from Stryker that occurred between now and a few months ago. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Fire Chief Webster?
So, once you order it and purchase it or pay for it, when will you receive it?
So the process is, once you approve it, we will execute a purchase agreement with the company. We don't actually pay for the ambulance until it's sitting on our property. And so once it's been inspected and delivered, we will issue payment at that time. So no payment occurs until then. Again, the anticipated timeline in the queue is spring of 2027. So not this coming spring, but the following spring of the following year. And really since the pandemic, the lead times on emergency vehicles have been extremely long. Ambulances, fire engines, police cars, all of those, it just takes a really long time. And so for us, in order to purchase them, we have to get in line. And if we don't purchase them now, like we've got to just continue to wait. They're not saving them, Fred. They're getting sold on a regular basis. And so unfortunately, we have to make these decisions today for stuff we won't see for a year and some change from now.
On that note, basically it takes about a year. By the time we turn the paperwork in and the process is about a year, right? Basically, that's about what it is I noticed that over the years, it's by the time we've turned the paperwork in, the agreement, it's about a year because of all the special equipment that you have to incorporate into the unit itself. And I know the new factories are, everything is new, you want to be up to date and all technology, and I get it. And, but, and I'm glad what I see is the expansion in the ambulance service. That tells me that we're out there saving more lives than before. I'll be honest with you. That's the key in life, when we have ambulance, saving people's loved ones, getting them to the hospital, to the, next council meeting, I want to see the new technology that you purchase, for the ambulance equipments. So maybe, because I got to see it. I just want the other council people to see the technology that we're stepping into the future for the patients. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say first of all, thank you for allowing us to, or for you factoring it into your budget every year so it could consistently be on a budgeted item. The question I have is that amount, have you seen it actually, you said there's a need now that it's COVID. Have you seen that we're actually factoring the proper amount? I know it's probably every 3 years, or do you see an average of it going up? Do we need to actually adjust to it? How do you see it?
So the cost of everything has gone
Yeah,
up
yeah.
significantly, and we forecast, we're making a decision for now that's going to be incorporated in a budget that you'll be making a decision on 6 months from now. And so we monitor the expenses of everything this year, and the technology that Councilman Avalos is referring to is our cardiac monitors. We purchased those 9 cardiac monitors on a 6-year lease, and we'll be utilizing those for the next 10 years before we replace them. And so we're constantly looking at different strategies to minimize our costs and to create efficiencies in how we provide service through the ambulance division. And so,
What's your analogy or analysis on your depreciated on each vehicle? What's the lifespan on that vehicle? What do you predict, or using analysis on all the other ambulances? What do you see the average lifespan of an ambulance and the cost factor of where you're at? Are we in line with that?
yeah, so the way we deploy our ambulances today, we base a replacement plan on 8 ambulances every 6 years. And so we're going to purchase 1 ambulance a year, and then every 3rd year we'll have to purchase 2. And so that's based off of the utilization of those resources. And so an ambulance lasts roughly 250 to 300,000 miles. just because they're heavy, they're driven hard, and they operate around the clock. And so we have a program where we have 2 ambulances for every ambulance that's in service. And so there's one being driven, and then there's one on the ready if there's a malfunction or mechanical breakdown and or preventative maintenance that's necessary, that other ambulance goes in line.
The last question, is is the Mercedes, and are they diesel or are they gas driven?
So our ambulances, this ambulance is a Ford ambulance. It's actually a gas motor. We've gone, well, one, they no longer put diesel engines in those van style ambulances. They do in the Ford truck or the truck chassis ambulances. The cost of those is significantly more. And we've dealt with pretty significant problems with the diesel exhaust fluid systems that are required to meet emission standards. And so the gas motors, they just are proven to be less maintenance issues. The motor themselves is about half the cost, and then the actual maintenance portion of them is significantly less as well, just because of the complexity. There is a loss of fuel economy, but when you look at that over the time period of the vehicle and the expenses associated with the maintenance and repairs, there's still a savings with it, with the gas powered rate.
Last question, what's your average monthly miles you put on those vans?
So each ambulance puts about 50,000 or 50,000 miles a year. And so that means that every frontline ambulance, because there's 2, is about 100,000 miles. And so yeah, so the miles add up pretty quickly. And we have some ambulances that already have 240,000 miles. And so we're trying to get caught up on our replacement plan. And we're also trying to space it out as well. So we're not having to buy 3 ambulances at a time or whatever. And so we have a very aggressive preventative maintenance program. Those vehicles are in and out of getting oil changes and all of the stuff that they need. Part of the reason for the transition from the Mercedes platform to this Ford platform, one, the maintenance costs are less for the Ford platform. Also, there's facilities here in Selma that we can utilize for those repairs versus having to drive to Fresno to do that. And then, those are really the big things, but also the platform itself, the bigger box ambulance, and you'll see it once it gets here, the Type 3, they're actually safety rated for crash protection. And so it creates a safer environment for our staff as well as our patients that we're transporting. And so there's quite a few factors that went into the decision to make that change.
Yeah, I agree. The service area is expanding. There are mutual aid agreements. You're always going outside the radius to save lives. Appreciate you thinking about the local vendors, making it afford, making it local, and getting the service locally. I think that's a really thoughtful purchase as well. And see people all the time. It's incredible when, ambulances are going and people don't even pull over. I mean, they're like, there's a big siren, there's this big truck, the big ambulance behind, and people don't pull over. They're on their cell or whatever. But yeah, I appreciate the extra safety from that aspect as well for the ambulance drivers. Ironically, they're involved in accidents all the time themselves. And just a quick question, is this contract, does this lock in that 271 price now? So even if pricing goes up, and even though the city doesn't pay until it's delivered, that 271 is locked and loaded after tonight?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
So we will be executing a purchase agreement with this company for that price with an expected delivery of spring of 2027.
Thank you. Does the public have any comment on the new ambulance? Anybody on the line or on the phone with a comment about the new ambulance?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Is there a motion to approve
Make a
this item?
motion.
Is there a second? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item passes on to item 3.2, which is an action item, consideration of a resolution 2025-128R, authorizing the city manager or his designee to approve the procurement of patrol units through Enterprise Fleet for Selma Police Department operations and amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 city budget. Police Chief Alcaraz.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is pretty straightforward. We had already originally budgeted $80,000 for this year's lease payments on 5 new patrol vehicles. We did have to revise that order in order 4 patrol vehicles, and one of those, well, actually 5 patrol vehicles, but one of those will be a K-9 vehicle, which is a little bit pricier because there are a little more intricacies into outfitting one of those vehicles. Which is why we're asking for a $10,000 budget amendment, just to ensure that we're able to meet that order and that quota. That said, we've been working diligently with Enterprise, whom we already have an agreement with, and have been able to also work with the Selma Dodge dealership. And that said, we'll be ordering those 5 vehicles through Selma Dodge via Enterprise, at which time Enterprise will take possession of those Dodges from the Selma Dodge and then get them outfitted for us and out for operational use.
Great. Thank you. Does council have any questions for Police Chief Alcaraz regarding this leasing of 5 new much-needed vehicles?
I have
from
a
the Selma
question.
PD?
Does the sales tax come back to the city on those purchases?
Yes, it would. They're going to be delivered here. It's so weird not to see you, Councilmember.
That's okay.
But,
I can hear you.
yeah,
I
the
can hear
vehicles
you.
will be delivered to Selma, then picked up by Enterprise Fleet and taken out for upfitting. So
Great.
yes.
Chief, just a quick question. Any issues with ordering the 5 vehicles here locally?
You know, not really. Enterprise worked with Selma Dodge, and the Enterprise is also a sole source approved vendor to ensure that they're getting competitive pricing. It really was picking up the phone, and Enterprise really took care of it all.
Okay, great.
So I think that's the best of both worlds. You know, you get the local tax effect. You get the sales tax dollars for our city, most of which is attributable to our car dealerships here, including Selma Dodge. So that's really good. And you also get the financial benefits of the leasing through pros like Enterprise. So I think that's just a great collaboration there. Thank you, Police Chief Alcaraz, for working on that and making it work for everybody, for the citizens, for the city, and for the Selma PD, because these are much needed. Just a question, Fire Chief Webster says 50,000 miles are put on the ambulances. How many miles are put on your average police car for a year?
I'd say roughly 2,000 miles a month per vehicle. But typically, you know, a vehicle with 100,000 miles, a police car with 100,000 miles, equivalent to a personal vehicle with 200,000 miles, because the vehicles don't turn off the way that they're driven. Unfortunately, our police officers are always driving extremely assertively to get to where they need to go. So it's just a different type of driving, Mr. Mayor.
Got it. Thank you. Public have any questions or issues about this? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment about the 5 new police vehicles?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
That will bring the matter back to council. Is there a motion to approve this item?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Okay, usually we take a break after departmental reports, but we're kind of cruising tonight. Is everybody okay with?
Okay.
We will, okay, for Councilman Oscar, we will take a 5-minute break, and anybody who doesn't have a report after that can take off. Thank you. All right, we're going to get started again. We are back in session. We are going to move on to our next item, which is action item 3-3, consideration of resolution 2025-129R, approving and adopting a City of Selma citywide injury and illness prevention plan. Deputy City Manager Fowler.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Cal OSHA requires that we have a plan such as this, the Injury and Illness Prevention Program. Earlier this year, the fire department actually started working on this for us. We're working together with HR to bring up all of the safety programs in the city. And so this has been submitted to RMA. And their safety team has looked at it and has approved all of the aspects of it. And so this will be trained on in orientations with all new employees, and it'll be citywide. So this is something that we want to train on every spring before we start going into the hot months. And again, it does then satisfy the Cal OSHA requirement that we have this in place. So staff is recommending that you adopt resolution 2025-129R.
I have a question. I love the idea about an injury plan, but what are we doing about all the places we have that can cause injuries, like the floor here, for example? The Veterans Plaza that they're putting the tree and the sand, I think is gonna be right there, but those bricks are still sunk, and there's a big old thing like that so somebody can walk. I mean, Pioneer Village, the cement where they do the dance floor. It's been like that for years, and apparently the city knows. And we're all at fault because, I'm part of this problem. But let's be part of the solution too. Doing all these trainings and all this stuff it's meaningless because you're gonna train them, they're gonna go inside there, they're gonna fall, and they're gonna file a lawsuit against the city. So any good program comes with solutions. And I don't care voting for it because I like the idea because when I work with the county, we used to have those all the time, and it worked. But if we're not taking care of business inside our home, or our areas, or our city, then you're just gonna be teaching them how to sue you, pretty much.
Okay. The program essentially does address heat illness. And so as they're especially like our parks team, streets crews, et cetera, how they are to stay hydrated, those kinds of things. And so that's part of the plan. We are in the process of working on developing a list of all of those items of safety concerns that you mentioned. And then we'll be coming through the budget process to see if council entertains the money to prioritize some of those to be repaired.
I think it's a great idea. I congratulate you guys for doing that. At the same time, it's probably gonna bring some savings into the future health of the city employees, which is good. So that is a
We hope
plus.
so.
Yeah, thank you.
Margie, and I want to just thank you as well because this also keeps us in compliance, which is very important because at any time they can come and do an inspection, and then if you don't pass inspection, you can get fined. So,
That is correct.
yeah, thank you.
So is previously the city, each department had their own IIPP? Is that how it was? Or did we have an IIPP before this?
The fire department had an IIPP, but the rest of the city did not. And so we're required to have a citywide program. One of the things we're working on right now is updating all the city policies. So you'll see a big majority of those coming in January for your approval. And so you'll be interested to see how outdated some of our policies are. So we're working to get Selma up to date where it needs to be for its employees to work safely and hopefully, help with injury, but be in compliance with everything. So it's one of the goals of our department.
Yeah, the heat abatement program is something, from what I understand, Cal OSHA is very focused on with employers adopting that part of the program. And another part of the program in looking through this is also hazard communication, as Councilman Oseguera talked about, communication at all levels to the council as well as from employees to employees, including safety meetings. Is that something that the city is pretty focused on as well right now, having periodic safety meetings?
Currently, each one of the departments runs their own safety plans, which is very typical. But we don't have a safety committee, which we will be starting. And that way we'll be combining all of our records so that we make sure we're in compliance. As the vice mayor did state, at any time Kalosha can come and do an on-site visit. When they do that, they typically are looking for your tailgate sessions,
Yep.
to see who signed in, all of those kinds of things, all of the things that you were supposed to train on, whether you're doing citywide training on this. And so usually the HR department has to provide those training records, and currently we don't have those. And so individual departments have them. And so we'll be collecting those and putting them in. They really also belong in the employee files. And so it's really easy in case we do have a claim or anything to go to an employee file and be able to pull those. And so it's just documenting very on a better scale.
Yeah.
I think we're coming full circle. We had the insurance meeting a couple months ago with the city insurance program. And, you know, insurance just pays for losses after they happen, but prevention is really important. And this is a great element of prevention to communicate safety practices to employees from the workers' comp standpoint. And we need help in that standpoint. We can get better in our claims record. And I also heard when we were doing the insurance meeting that there were going to be some claim reviews as well. Is that starting to happen with the insurance program?
Yes, we've already done the liability claims review, and then I actually have the workers' comp one scheduled this week. It was scheduled before Thanksgiving, and we had to postpone.
A lot of these workers' comp adjusters have 100, 150 claims on their desk, and you have to be kind of the squeaking wheel sometimes. They do a great job.
Yeah.
Some of those claims are really easy. They're med only and that kind of thing. They don't involve indemnity, but a lot of them can be complex. And if you have a claim review, you see those that have been sort of sitting there and haven't moved in a while. And it's really helpful for the client to take a look at those claims.
I don't disagree. I think that, though, and I'll ask that question, I don't believe the ratio is that big because Ames is an arm of the RMA, and so they make sure that to keep those numbers lower. And so you're absolutely right. If you're dealing with the Zenith or any of the big companies, you know, they load their adjusters up. But I think the claims number is a little bit smaller for our.
Good to know. I know Sedgwick,
adjusters,
the
but we'll
TPA,
check
and
on
they're the biggest in the world. So they're really, you know, they're very professional. Just really congratulate the city on moving forward like this, having the prevention part as well as the finance part with the insurance.
Yeah.
Anybody have a?
I have another comment, and you know, and I agree. But God forbid Kalosha comes, because you know what they're gonna do with that floor? They can fine you for that, for having a floor like that. Because we know in this negligence, somebody gets hurt, guess what? They're gonna get a good lawyer and better open up your wallet, you know, or we better open up our wallet, because it's our problem too, not just yours. You know, remember, we're in this together. We need to fix that stuff. I mean, I know we gotta do this and that, but let's take care of it. I mean, I hate to, you know, see workman's comp claims come because of the floor, and we know it needs to be repaired or fixed or, you know, whatever. But, you know, let's work on it together. I mean, that's all I'm asking for.
And we are, as soon as was made aware of the issue there, we did get our company that we work with on site. We received bid proposals last week for just the flooring. I received a timeline today from the company. They should have design review to us by the late December, so we'll be able to take a look at redoing some of the partitions that we've asked for. And then we could be completely done if the budget allows, mid-year budget, to be done with the project by as early as April.
And if there are any negligence issues, I mean, there could always be subrogation or recovery against any kind of negligent supplier if that were the case in any issue with the flooring.
Definitely.
Yeah, and one of the things too is that we are making progress to fix that, which helps us with some of those liability claims as well. We're going out, we're getting the bids, we're putting that together, and we're moving towards resolving that issue. We're just not, you know, leaving it all by itself and turning a blind eye to it, so.
Anybody with a comment? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
That will bring the matter back to council. Is there a motion to approve item 3.3?
So moved.
Second,
Yeah.
call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Motion passes. Item 3.4, action item consideration of and necessary action on resolution 2025-130R, approving retiree health insurance allowance, and resolution 2025-132R, approving a budget amendment to fund the increase. Report, please.
Mayor, members of council, at the last several council meetings, we've had discussions about the retiree stipend that is given to them. As you know, our health insurance is having a 15% increase this year, and so council had been interested in increasing that stipend. We went back, we had discussion at the last council meeting about being able to cover the entire amount of the increase, which is just a little bit under $25. Staff has brought into, for your consideration, resolution to adopt the $25 to increase all stipends by that amount. And then also a budget amendment to allocate the funds for that.
Thank you for your report. Does council have any discussion at this time?
What was the total on that? I mean, I read the report, but it was what, 5,000 for 6 months?
That is correct.
On,
Councilmember?
you know, on this particular issue, I would like to table this. Or take a little, analyze it more.
So the last council meeting, I think what we were
Yeah. because
looking
we
for is to
talked-
identify the source of the funds, and the
yeah,
source of the
that's the
funds appears to
key.
be the general fund.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's some issues that are popping up.
You're saying you want to table it until the next budget?
Yes, because the reason why, things are popping up that we had to do in important issues that they're at hand. And I want to make sure that what we're doing correctly and financially is transparent and right. And if we have the funds to do this down the road, there's some, we just got done, purchasing some items here. And I just want to analyze more on this issue. I'm asking my colleagues to support me on this issue.
I have a question. So your concern is $5,200 and something dollars of an impact to the budget, which accumulates to almost $11,000.
Yeah, but things have popped up.
I'm just asking.
You know what I mean?
Anybody else with a comment?
I know that we were just looking at the time where the sources are going to come from. The other thing is that they have been awarded a stipend, and it's going to happen every year. My question is to council is, if it increases next year, are we now setting a precedence where they're going to come back and say, well, now it increased by $50 and I want, for you to
75.
adjust it again? So that's my concern, because we hear it all the time. I'm in the insurance world, and everybody's rates have gone up, and it's going to continue. But that's where some people, everybody gets a COLA or they don't, and sometimes those are just things that we have to adjust and make some adjustments. So I just want to make sure that that's not what we're doing, is setting a precedence, because it's going to continue to happen every year.
Do we have any comments from the public?
First of all, if you table it, the insurance rates are going to go up effective January the 1st. So that puts the financial burden back on the retirees. Secondly, when we were with CalPERS, part of the contract with CalPERS included that the city pay part of the retirees' premium for their health insurance, which was more than $120. It was a percentage, and that percentage increased each year that we were retired. So you paid 100 for me this year, and next year you'd be paying 105 or whatever. It increased each year. So when we left PERS, we lost that cushion of anybody helping us with our premiums. We it's we are on a fixed income. We get cost of living, which is a couple percentage points on our retirement. And if you're fortunate, you get Social Security also. But it's not a lot. 2% out of 1,000 is $20, you know, so it's not that big of an increase that we get with our COLA. So I think that when the city left PERS, that was the idea of giving us the $80 a month, was to compensate us for not having that contract with PERS where the city was paying part of our premiums for us. So now at this point, yes, there's an increase. It's not like we're asking you guys to pay for all of it. We're asking a small increase in what you've already agreed to give us. And as far as the precedent goes, anybody who has retired since we left PERS, they're not included in this. You're talking about 35 retirees, I believe that's the number. That's it. And if any of those leave their insurance, they can't come back. So that number will probably get smaller as the years go by, based on age, people pass away, whatever. But so you're not really setting a precedent that all these people after us are going to get. Nobody's going to get it. Only the people who were retired effective when the city left CalPERS.
Thank you. Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Thank you. With that, we'll bring the matter back to council. Council have any further discussion?
Well,
I agree with you.
I mean,
I haven't talked yet. Let me just make
Go
a
ahead.
quick comment. Council member, thank you. So I understand both sides of this issue. I really do. And I definitely feel for the retirees. I think at this point, what I was looking at was to find a source on this, that we could find the money right now for it. And we're not saying, what I'm not hearing is, no way, we don't want to do this. What I'm hearing tonight is, we want to find a source of funds, and it's going to take us a little while to do that. But just going right in, and to take up Council Member Avalos's line of thought, as well as Mayor Pro Tem Guerra's, that just to put $25 there, it needs to be a little more systematic, I think, in terms of like a percentage or something, to get back to the increase, the automatic increase like the CalPERS program had, which was, I think, in many ways a better health insurance program. But it is what it is. It's where we are, and we can't go back for another 3 years, I think. So I think at this point, I would agree that we should study this a little more in terms of finding a source of funds and finding a reasonable and equitable percentage of increase to account for that, rather than just kind of coming up with a number and just putting that number in every year, because that does set a precedent. I'd rather have a set fixed increase every year that's applied to the retirees' health plan to help them offset the increase in the health insurance. And that's my comment. Councilman Oseguera, did you have a comment?
I have a question. Why don't we defer to the expert? I mean, is there any other funds we can draw from? I'm sure you did some research before bringing this up.
I think Maggie's online, the finance director also. I did meet with her, and we took a look at several different options, and the general fund was the only place. She is online and can talk about that.
Good evening, Director. Did you have a comment?
Is she muted? She's muted now.
Yeah. If we can find the source. I don't think anybody wants to say no. I think we just want to find a way to pay for this. Okay, I think your mic is clear.
Oh, yeah, can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, yes, thank you. So, as Deputy City Manager mentioned, we are looking for sources right now. It is a general fund. It could also be a mid-year adjustment that I can do a further detail of where to find the funds if that's needed.
But it would still be general funds at that point, even if it's a mid-year adjustment.
It's
just-
still general fund.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think what we're getting at is finding another source of funds, and this would give us a little more time. And as Councilman Trujillo said, it could be retroactive to pay the increase if we can find that source of funds and vote to pass this. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to table this until the next
second it.
budget. Okay. Is there, I actually asked for a motion.
Clarification, to the next budget or mid-year?
The next budget.
Okay, so we're at
Mid-year?
7-1, we're at 12-1. Mid-year would
Mid-year.
be, yeah,
Typically, mid-year, we start the process in
March.
January and we'll have that done in, what is that, March, April?
It would be a less burden if we did
Yeah.
mid-year.
Mhm.
so let's bring it back mid-year then. Table it until mid-year,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Council, thank you. Thanks for clarifying that, City Manager.
Jason, thank you.
We have a motion from Councilman Avalos. Is there a second? Okay, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo, Councilmember Oseguera,
No,
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Item 3.5, action item, consideration of resolution 2025-131R, providing authorization to purchase new tables and chairs for city council chambers, and resolution 2025-133R, approving the budget amendment for the allocation of funds. Can we
Mayor,
get a report?
members of council, staff has been working on some upgrades to the facility. One of them would be to the council chambers. The council chambers is used a lot, not just by the council, but from many commissions. We use this for all of our recruitments. We use it for testing. This Friday night, we're going to be testing in the chambers. And when we have to use the chambers, we have to put in a work order to Public Works, and then they bring in a crew to reset the room for us, which is labor intensive. We are proposing to buy tables that our staff can readily move around. And so that would replace this large table and then the tables across from us, and buy new chairs for this area. And so we did, the vendor that supplies us with both the flooring and the panel system, we have taken a bid from them. And so that is, we're recommending that be approved, and it's a not to exceed bid of $10,000 for those.
Thank you for your report. We have any council discussion or questions at this point?
Yes, I do.
wants to table again.
Table the tables,
Table.
Yeah,
table the chairs.
table, well, I'll be honest, you guys. What we have, we're okay. And I would actually look at, straight up, guys. I want to look at the new year budget because, things have come down the pipe. We have issues that we have to facilitate, that popped up, and we have to address them. And I think these items can be put back, delayed. Okay? I'm just being very candid about it. I feel that what we have is fine right now, but it's taxpayers' dollars. I'm a different kind of cat, and I think we all are. We want to make sure that we're fiscal responsibility, and right now, I don't think, well, we have a lot of stuff on our, on our horizon right now. And we want to make sure that we have the financing to move forward and move the city forward. And I want to make sure the employees are, on our staff are, how would I say it, are taken care of it, you know, financially and insurance wise, everything possibly we can, but we have, right now, uh, things are gonna get tight already. I can tell you that right now. I've seen this before, guys. Trust
Thank
me.
you. Thank you for your comment.
Marky, I have a quick, just a question for you. I don't know if you will know this or not, but I know in the past with the previous city manager, there was approval of 160,000 that that was approved to get tables and chairs. Now, what was that used for?
I am not aware of
1.5.
that. I'm not sure if Maggie knows either, but it's something that we could certainly take a look at. I know that the panel system in both of the areas and then the front office work that they did, that was included in that large budget item. But I don't know if there were specifically, because there are some small tables, like I have a small table in my office. And so that may be part of that. I don't know that there was anything specifically budgeted for the city council chambers.
What would happen to the table, that table right there, that big, long table?
I know somebody who'll buy it.
We would have to go through the surplus process would be one of the items as normal.
There's really no use for it in the city, okay? In terms of the chairs themselves, ergonomically, how do the chairs function right now for city employees?
Well, they would be replacing these chairs that we're in
Right.
right now. And
Right
so-
now, are they ergonomically correct? Are they up to date ergonomically? Are they good for posture? Are they good for employees who are sitting there for hours upon
the
hours during
chairs that are
interviews?
At the city desks, yes. And
Yes.
so,
How
yeah,
about these in the council?
no, they are not.
No.
So
Okay. And that would be the issue tonight, replacing those chairs
that is correct.
for employees.
Yes.
Okay. And the folks who have interviews in here and conduct those kinds of activities, as well as that table right there. Do we have to change that big ungainly table right now? Or do we, it seems like in terms of priorities, is chairs number one and tables second, or do they all need to be replaced at once?
It's up to discretion of council. I mean, chairs probably is a better idea. I've sat in those chairs. They're not
I
fun.
have two. They are slouchy and your back
What-
goes back and
okay.
they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
We had our animal services manager interviews just last week and it was, they were uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then, because this isn't budgeted, it is discretionary funds essentially. So that's why we're asking for a, budget amendment, for this stuff. But similar to the last item, council could elect to table the table until, mid-year budget or future budget.
I have a question for Margie. So what is the cost, the total cost? Was it like 10 grand or something, or was it 8 grand? What was the total cost for this project?
I was right at $9,600. So I brought the budget amendment not to exceed 10,000 just in case we went over a little bit. But yeah, it was just shy of 10,000.
Right, and then I know city manager has discretionary funds he can use for whatever he wants. What is it, 25 grand right now?
It is, but we felt it was better to bring it to council. This is the council chambers. And so we want you to be a part of the decision-making for all of this, but,
We are, that's what I'm telling you, we are, I mean part of it.
and it's also an unbudgeted item. And so, that's one of the reasons it's before you tonight. And so,
So, okay. So our RMA program, workers' comp, I know there's a carrier out there that offers like 50% savings in terms when you buy ergonomic furniture. Have we checked with the RMA to see if there are any cost savings from buying ergonomic furnishings that would ultimately reduce the number of potential claims?
No, I have not. We are required to have in our offices ergonomically correct equipment. And so, but in a chamber setting, it's not very specific. And so, I don't know that there would be a vendor out there, but I can certainly look into it.
Okay. So would count, did we have any public input?
I've been retired for 18 years. These chairs and tables were here when I was working here a long time ago, when we moved into this building from the old city hall. Those chairs are not comfortable. If any of you have sat in them for more than 5 minutes, they're not padded. They are very uncomfortable and they're not at a height that's comfortable at that table. The table is not straight at the edges. So it's kind of rounded. So it's hard to get close to the table if you are testing people, which when I would test people during HR, we get them at this table and it's just not a good fit for anything that needs to be done in this room. The pictures that you put in the proposal of the tables, they look like they would be very comfortable, easy for your department heads to sit at, to take their notes, to have their computers in front of them. The chairs are ergonomically correct, I believe. And for the price that they are, you're talking about being proactive for injuries and stuff. When you have to move that table, that thing weighs like a bajillion pounds. And to have Public Works in here constantly trying to move that table around because you're doing something different in this room, that's where somebody's going to get hurt. And so to get rid of the table after 30 years, I think it's time.
Thank you.
Councilman Trujillo has a question.
We'll bring it back.
1057 Mill Street, Rose Robertson. Just hearing the price for the amount of the tables and chairs versus a couple years ago, 3-2 vote for $160,000 table and chairs with the previous council and city manager just blows my mind. And matter of fact, when you do the research and go see exactly what those tables and chairs were, I would like to go walk back there and look at what cost the taxpayers $160,000. And that was a 3-2 vote. And I remember that very well. That was really disgusting. Thank you.
Okay.
I haven't commented, but you know, we can keep insulting decision makings. I'm here as a representative of this city, of this district, of District 2. And when I talk in regards to the employees of the city manager and how they're gonna be able to sit. And a couple of years ago, if you go back and you look, it was for chairs, tables, office desks. It was for partitions. But it was because the stuff they were working with is exactly the same stuff they were working with many years ago. I find it very funny and curious that people are watching what they're spending for $10,000 for what it is for the city council dais, for what represents the city of Selma, when our city finance director still is looking what our midterm adjustments are going to be for what we've expended in the last year. And I can go on and on of all the expenditures, raises, adjustments that this city council has done since January 12th of this year. And I'm still waiting for the midterm changes that are gonna affect this budget. So, and as an accountant, and we can all talk money, we can all talk, but at the end of the day, how do you want to treat your employee sitting there for the 3 to 5 hours that we sit here is a representative of who we care about? So, and when I look at $10,000, I don't look at the impact of $10,000. I look at what it's going to do, how it's going to help our employees, how it's going to represent our city. So as representative of this community, I'm gonna vote yes, but I'm gonna vote yes because I care about my employees. I care about the representation of the city. And if we all want to keep going back on what our previous administration did, let's remember something. We have a city attorney that's actually turned in an invoice in April of $35,000 in April, in November. We have adjustments that have been made that haven't been impacted this budget that we have been doing since January. I'm waiting. We have a whole new administration. I'm waiting for you guys to present me all the adjustments and where it's actually gonna go, where it's gonna be put. I wanna know where you guys are gonna put this. All this money that you guys have been spending, Selma Live, all this money you guys have been spending. I wanna know where it's gonna factor in the budget. Because right now, you guys are concerned of $10,000. I find it very funny. And you can insult me all you want, but I still represent this community. I still stand here, and I'm still concerned. But I will say this, that would be the best $10,000 you guys spend because it would be a representation of our community, and it would actually let our employees sit. And Mr. Mayor, you can laugh. Oh, Mr. OC, you can talk while I'm talking. But at the end of the day, a representation of the impact of our budget, what you guys have approved since January to now, is gonna have to be represented. And I'm waiting to see where it's gonna, one, we've hired, we've given raises. Where's that impact gonna go? Where's it gonna be represented? So, and you're concerned at $10,000?
Okay, I have, since he's concerned about what I was saying, I was telling, Scott that I was gonna respond on the Selma Live, sir. Selma Live was 100% funded by donations from different businesses in the community. And if you want a financial summary, we can surely do that. As a matter of fact, Selma Live made money on their events, and none of it was city money. Everything was donated. So,
Selma Live was transferred to the City of Selma Enhancement District, correct? And Selma Live was actually counted by other individuals other than the city staff, correct?
Selma Live was run through a source of the city,
Okay.
but it was not city funds. It was a vehicle for them to receive donations so that they came in.
At the end of the day, we'll get to those days and times when it's adequate time.
We sure will.
Yes.
Hold on. We sure will. There's so much to get to the bottom of that we haven't got to the bottom of, like buying a piece of land at 1.5 million for asking price that had been on for sale for 20 years at 1.5 million. And this previous council just paid 1.5 million. It was incredible. It was a 3-2 vote. So let's not talk about
Same land.
financial acumen. Tonight, we're discussing a financial decision to help our employees out. And we are looking at this decision for new tables and chairs. We don't need to radiate out beyond that because, sir, that radiation will happen. There will be investigations that will go on and are going on into the financial background of this city and those people who made payments like a $350,000 payment out of the general fund reserve. So let's not get into the weeds right now. Let's keep it on point. And let's talk about tables and chairs. Yes, I agree. I think it's just the perspective of this council that we are so focused on the citizens of Selma now that we are really conscious of spending the citizens' money. And this is just part of that. Yes, we want the tables and chairs. We're just trying to find a way to fund that. With Selma Live, we did that for the people. You think serving beer, sir, for 5 hours and popping tops? I didn't even see you show up at the event. I was there for 5 hours opening beer cans. I didn't get a dime for it, not a dime. But you know what I got? I got the satisfaction of serving my fellow Selma citizens. And that money that came in was from the proceeds from the beer sale. So you can throw all the rocks that you want. Let's get back to our topic and let's talk about tables and chairs.
No one is throwing rocks. I'm a representative of this community. And at this point right now, what I'm asking is, There's been numerous amount of expenditures for the 2025-26 budget. I haven't seen where it's gonna impact. You can laugh all you guys want, you can say it. We're talking about impacting our budget. I'm waiting to see where you're gonna put them, and we'll be discussing what you've been doing later in the future.
Absolutely. And we've had a budget amendment. We'll have another one. I'm just encourage you to attend council
Like
meetings.
to say, the money that we have spent, yes, it was money that needed to be spent, like our Schaefer Park lights for our kids. Had we have not made that decision, that would have went on with the previous council, would have allowed it to go on for years without lights and getting that fixed. But we took that initiative and we said we were going to put those lights in for our kids, for our citizens, because they deserve it. Now, if you're so concerned, Councilmember Trujillo, where was your concern when you awarded previous city manager $350,000 of taxpayers' money? Where was your concern then? It wasn't. So don't give me any slack right now.
So,
Because right now, you're gonna get a fund, you're gonna see exactly where those monies are gone. Not like it was previous when we didn't see anything.
okay, so, all I'm gonna go back to is this. I hear concerns of budget items.
Johnny, let's get back to the taking care of business on this issue. I think we.
I
all of us
apologize
heard
for you,
enough already.
but right now I'm gonna respond.
Go
And I would
ahead.
respectfully ask,
Go ahead.
and I'm not
respond.
attacking anybody.
I'm just trying to say this.
I represent District 2, and we're coming up with concerns of accusations of what occurred. We have a city attorney that's been spending and investigating and and suing. But let's look at this. We have a new deputy city manager that's got an increased raise. We have a finance director that's got an increased raise. We have a new city IO director has gotten 100 something. That's a new position. And we have many expenditures that have occurred that haven't been put into our budget. So, and all I'm saying is I still represent this community. I still can ask questions. You can insult me all you want. But at the end of the day, oh, and by the way, that 5.2 acre property, we had set aside to build a community center, a senior center, when we bought it.
Not
So now,
Not
and
true.
that's on the resolution.
Nope.
So now,
Nope.
when you decide to sell it
You're not.
and you didn't put it out, you're violating the law.
Nope.
And that's up for discussion. But at the end of the day, I accept all disrespect. I accept all comments, but at the end of the day, you still have to give me the respect to represent my district. I thank you. And at the same time, I'll go back to this. I approve 100% this expenditure for $10,000.
Is that an official motion?
Is that a motion to approve this item?
Mr. Manager, did you hear a motion?
I just heard that.
Did you hear a motion?
approve it. I just heard that.
He's
Did you hear me say a motion?
Paying his vote.
I did not.
Let's not attack the city manager.
I'm not.
I did not.
That's why
Thank you for the clarification.
I guess that's a no. Okay, so back to the city council. City council wish to discuss this matter any further, refine the matter, table the matter, or do we want to make a
Well,
motion?
you know what? Let's table this matter, Scott, okay?
Okay, you're making a motion to table
Make
the
a
matter.
motion to table this item, to analyze it more and, and find the ways, to find this money, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't want to get into a debate with someone down in the corner down there, but he wouldn't like what I have to tell us, but I'm not going to do that. I'm professional, but I'd rather have this tabled.
Well, before we vote, I'd just like to say that
Hold on, is there a second? Because we can't talk before there's a second. Is there a second to table the motion? Okay, motion dies for a lack of a second.
Okay, so,
It's open again. Go ahead.
reality is we can look and look and look, but unless somebody's got a magic wand and say, hey, here's $10,000, or we get a grant or some sort, there's a lot of, some of the grants that we already applied for, they're already like for the bathrooms, which is, a good expense, but I agree with Councilman Trujillo. By back when I was with the county, there was a time when there was a lot of workman's comp issues, reports, and I had 3 surgeries because of that workman's comp deal, and they finally agreed to replace all desks through the whole county, mind you. That's a lot, that's a big expense, but you know what? By doing that, they were able to save a lot of money because people weren't getting that carpal tunnel, and so they saved millions of dollars just on that. So I agree with Councilman Trujillo that $10,000 is not a lot of money to spend on your staff to make sure that everybody doesn't run into those problems. I mean, I can show you if you want to see. I can show you my surgeries. They were no fun, And going through that, I understand the process, and I mean, we can table, do whatever, but
And I agree, Councilman Oseguera, I agree. 10,000, it's not about the dollar number to help the staff in uncomfortable chairs, which you and I sat in to interview the animal service manager for 4 hours. So we were direct recipients of the discomfort of those chairs. So totally get that. But what you're not saying, what Councilman, I think Avalos was bringing up a good point, is that there are lots of other expenditures. You brought up the last agenda item that we haven't seen, we haven't accounted for, such as the flooring in the other office, part of that 161,000 Sourcewell, I think, purchase that was brought up by a member of the public, that was incorrectly put in. So you talk about ergonomics and damage to employees. What happened to that? Why are we just hearing about that now? So if we're so concerned about the employees, let's be consistent. And if there's things that are happening that are not done correctly, there is recovery for that too. And our city attorney, who is not our city accountant, he's our city attorney and does send in the billings, I believe, to the city on a periodic basis, but has always said they didn't happen necessarily every month to month, but they do happen. You do bill the city. Let's be consistent. Let's take care of the employees in all areas of the building. And that includes the floor they walk on. That includes the chairs they sit on. That includes the panels. Let's take care of the employees who need an office to discuss confidential matters. Let's take care of our council and us sitting here when it's December and the heat's not on. So there are all sorts of needs that we need to take care of that are coming up that will cost money. So I think we're just focusing on the money because there have been items that have come up that have been more or less unplanned, which is going to happen. And I think I will agree with Councilman Trujillo that, we need to take account of a little more flexibility in our budget to take account of contingencies in our next budget, because man, it just seems like things come up all the time. So for our next budget item, let's try to build in a little more flexibility for unforeseen events like this. Heck, we may need a new heater. Let's hope not. But it could happen. But I think the time is here to get rid of those chairs and to bring in the table and new tables. And I think it's tonight. I think it's time to move on this, because this is definitely, these were employees, it's employee health. I respect what Councilman Avalos is saying in terms of identifying the budget. I think we need to do that. But I think this is pretty pressing. I think this is kind of urgent. Look at this.
look at their faces sitting there.
They don't, I mean, the table, they don't match. And I mean, it's just, it's an item that is, that is time, and we will find this. We're not going to Tenaya Lodge for a retreat for $20,000. We are going to, if we go somewhere, we're going to try to bring the business back to justify that time. We're going to try to make it a business trip. So we're going to try to make wise expenditures of the taxpayer money. Like I said earlier, we're focused on the citizens of Selma, and that means protecting their money, protecting them, and bringing entertainment like Selma Live. Yes, Selma is alive again, thanks to this council. Well, some of us on the council, 4 of us, because we are trying to bring our city back. And we had more people than we've ever had come to Lincoln Park and use their parks to listen to Pepe Marquez in September. And I'm looking at our volunteers around here. We can keep doing that, and we can also take and protect the citizens' money but also protect the city employees. And I think that's what we're doing tonight. We're taking a step towards that. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to,
Can I make a comment?
no, let me make a motion to approve this item. Do you second it? And then we can have discussion on the table. Okay, now we
Just
can have
make it-
discussion. I made the motion
Oh,
to
you did?
approve.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, what I wanted to say is, if you really look at money wise, all it takes is one workman's comp claim. And it's gonna cost you more than $10,000, I can tell you. What the insurance paid me, plus all they spent on all my surgeries, they spent more than $10,000.
Thank you.
So,
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
yes,
Councilmember Avalos. Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Was that a yes? See, he didn't vote.
Oh, sorry.
Jump the gun here, lady. Okay, after hearing all the debate here and the arguments,
Hmm.
you know, and I'm gonna vote yes. And the reason why I'm voting yes on this issue, for the record, I heard that my the colleagues up here and they made good points, as far as these are old chairs, I get it. And, we gotta find the money. I get that too. We gotta find a way, but also the point, changed my mind here was their back, the injuries to the back, the old chairs, sitting too long. Cause I was looking at you guys down there in the bottom down there. Yeah, okay, I get it. And I understand you want more comfortable chairs, less back injuries, less aches and pains going home. That causes less stress and on the body and everything. And you go home happy, not cranky. So I get it. So I'm gonna vote yes
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman Avalos.
for the record.
Councilmember Trujillo. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yes.
Okay, item passes. Moving on to our next item, which is 3.6. This is introduction and first reading of ordinance 2025-15, amending the Selma Municipal Code 6226 relating to breeding, transfer, and sale of dogs and cats.
Mayor, members,
Attorney.
members of the council, this is Council Members Oseguera's long-awaited breeding ordinance. It's finally here for the first reading and introduction. It has absolutely nothing to do with breeding. What it does is coerces people to spay, neuter, fix their animals. And the reason it does it by imposing a license requirement on you is because you can't lawfully require anybody to spay or neuter their animal because their animals are property. And if you require them to alter their property, you have to pay them just compensation under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. That's why it's written the way it is. So if you read the first sentence, it says, all dogs and cats located within the city over the age of 4 months are required to be spayed or neutered unless you obtain a license to have that unaltered dog or cat. And you're going to get an opportunity to set a fee for that license. And I'm going to recommend to you when this comes back to you next year for the public hearing, that you adopt a resolution setting that fee at the amount which I understand to be the average cost of having a female dog. I don't know if it's neutered or spayed, whatever, which is $250. That's what I understand to be the cost of fixing a female dog and a cat. So that would be my suggestion for the unaltered dog license, which this provides for. If you have a dog that's not spayed or neutered, or you have a cat that's not spayed or neutered, you can't have it unless you've got that license. And we'll set the license fee in the amount it would cost you to get it spayed or neutered. in order to coerce you to do that. Because we all know the one way to, for sure, eliminate the overpopulation of unwanted pets is to have them spayed and neutered. And that's what this ordinance does. So if you have an unaltered dog or cat, and you have the license, you're still required to make sure that animal doesn't breed. Because if it does breed, and if it does breed and you've got the unaltered dog license, that's not going to do you any good, because that's a violation of the ordinance, because you've allowed that animal to breed, whether you were aware of it or not. But that's kind of the beauty of this ordinance. It's a coercion mechanism. Got really nothing to do with people that are engaged in the business of breeding dogs or cats, of which there are many. All it is coercion to get your dog fixed and eliminate the overpopulation of pets. So if you allow the dog or cat to breed, we have to set a fee for the violation of the ordinance. And I would suggest that the fee for the violation of the ordinance ought to be based on the number of puppies or kittens in your litter. In other words, make every single animal that is bred a single violation of the ordinance. And that's what this does. So you'd set the fee, for example, at, let's say you set it at $50. You have a cat that has a litter of 10 kittens, which is not unheard of. You're in for, $500. So if you want to allow your dog or cat to breed, you got to get the breeder's license. We should set that breeder's license up there.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest, $500. And the whole thing is just a mechanism to convince people that spaying and neutering your animal is the right thing to do. And if you don't do it, it's going to cost you more than if you did it. That should be the message you get from this ordinance. And like I say, it has absolutely nothing to do with people that are in the business of breeding dogs or cats. There are exceptions within the ordinance for those specific types of people, because those specific types of people have licenses that are issued by the state. Because there's all kinds of things you can do when you're breeding a dog or a cat to make it ultimately an inferior animal, inbreeding and things like that. So that's heavily regulated by the state. So there are exceptions in there for things like pet stores that sell these things, for people that are just in that business. But those people are very, very heavily regulated, and they're paying a lot of money to have that breeder's license, which is a real breeder's license. It deals with somebody that's in the business of breeding dogs and cats and selling the puppies or kittens. That's what they do. So those people are accepted, and that's something that was required by the Department of Consumer Affairs. Anytime you have any kind of ordinance being adopted by a city that crosses over in potentially into the field regulated by the state requires you to send them your proposed ordinance before you even bring it before the city council, which is why this has taken so long. But that is the sum and substance of this entire ordinance. It's just a mechanism to coerce people to stop having unaltered animals.
Got it. Thank you. Any
You know,
comments?
yeah, I have a comment. When we did the interviews for shelter manager, it was interesting that, we were talking about that with the person that came from Fresno Humane? Or who was it? Margie? With the Fresno Humane? Who was it? The lady?
She was with the city of Fresno.
Oh, City of Fresno?
Yeah, she was.
And one of the
the
things she
director.
mentioned is that they're redoing that ordinance because, she said that you couldn't force people to spay and neuter.
Can't force them because that's your property. It'd be the same thing as if I came to your land and said, well, you've got to dig a ponding basin on your front yard so we can take care of our drainage problem.
Yeah.
I can't do that because that's taking your property without just compensation. I can go over there and eminent domain it and make you tear down your house and put my ponding basin in there, but I can't do it without paying you.
Yeah.
And I gotta pay you the full boat,
Yeah.
fair market value, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I was just bringing it up because she says they're making a lot of changes because the ordinance it sits or it stands is it's not working. So I don't know what the changes are gonna be. She gave me her number to call her if I had any questions about but they're making major changes to the ordinance for breeders. So I'm sure we'll hear about it in the news.
I believe, long ago, there was an attempt to require that by the state by statute. And it got struck down because it's unconstitutional.
Okay, well, thank you for doing the work. I'm sure changes will be made in the future and whatnot.
You know, these pet stores, there's believe there's a state law now that you have to sell dogs that have come from shelters, not from breeders. Breeders have their own license. Pet stores are not breeders anymore. So PetSmart, you go in there, those are shelter animals that they're selling. They're not selling breeder, but you go through the
Is
paper.
that right?
Yeah, you go through the paper and you see breeder animals everywhere. And I talked to someone who got a breeder animal, a beagle, and actually it was a poodle. And they're getting smart because breeders are really reviled in the animal world as people who are making money off of the misfortune and suffering of animals. They force these dogs to have puppies every 3 to 6 months. We're not talking about the casual person at home whose animals have puppies. We're talking about someone who's making money in a mill, turning these animals into little little dogs that have to breed the life out of them.
Yeah.
And this one person I talked to, the breeder, they called the number in the ad. There was a poodle. Oh, I'd like to come get, this person said, I'd like to come look at the poodle. No, I'll bring him to you. Well, I'd like to come see where he grew up. No, I'll bring him to you. Nope, I'll meet you there. Never gave their residence because I understand, and I hope breeders are listening right now. I don't know how many people are listening, but I hope if you're a breeder, you're listening because there are people investigating you and they are looking to see looking into animal cruelty cases. Because when this person got that poodle was covered with ticks, with fleas, hadn't been, just been mistreated. It was just a thing. Like, you're talking about just property. People look at them as property and ways to make money. I really think we're headed in the right direction
Yes, thank you.
with this ordinance. Thank you, city attorney, for putting all this work into it. Was it going to solve the problem of breeders making lives miserable for these poor animals? No way. But it will increase the penalties. And if city catches them, there will be penalties to pay. Along with dumping your animals. How many times have we seen that too? It's just as bad as
Yeah.
breeding on the other side. So I'm all for this. I think this is important. We need to fix that fee. You can go to the Hope Foundation. They are the cheapest fixing location in Fresno County, and you can get your dog fixed. I think male or female, 130 for female, 90 for male. So it's very reasonable. They are the most reasonable around.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of doing, but you can get your dog fixed, and it's definitely worthwhile. And you can't get a dog from the shelter without them getting fixed. That's
That's the
a
number
rule.
one.
That none of those dogs released go out without being fixed, because the shelter is full of dogs from people like breeders who capitalized on these dogs and then threw them away like trash, because that's where they end up. They end up in the shelter, and they end up our problem as a city, and we have to deal with it.
Yeah, one of the things, Mayor Robertson and I, because we were in that committee, and one of the things we talked about is, once we get our shelter manager, maybe going out there, I don't know if we can get donations or whatever to have spay and neuter clinics, vaccination clinics. We owe it to the community because it's a big need and we haven't done it in a while. So I think we're going to be proactive and maybe get a bunch of donations and maybe have them at the shelter or I don't know where, but we're going to do it because like Mayor Pro Tem said, we're doers.
And most of the people who don't get their dogs fixed, it's a money thing. They just don't have the money to do it. And if we can find a low-cost alternative and make it convenient, I think we could take a real percentage, increase that percentage of animals that are fixed, and don't perpetuate the problem of so many unwanted animals. Look at the cats on your way home tonight. See how many cats you can count. They're everywhere. And that's another thing our new animal services manager should be focusing on is cats again. Let's get back to taking care of the cat issue, because we're not doing it right now. Anyway, do we have any comment from the public on this? Anybody online or on the phone?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
That will bring the matter back. Is there a motion to approve this item?
This is just
It's just,
to
It's a first
waive it,
reading.
first reading and just to waive the reading, so.
Yeah.
Make sure you want to waive
First
the.
reading and introduce the ordinance.
okay, so do
We
we,
will have the public hearing on this at your first meeting in January, because there's not enough time to get it in the paper between.
Yeah, you just want to make a motion to waive the reading, so that way we don't force city attorney to read the whole thing.
Yes,
Is there a
please.
motion to waive the reading?
Please don't force me to do that.
And
So
approve
moved.
This item. Great.
second,
All right, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes. Oh, yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Moving on, item passes. Moving on to future agenda items. Council request for future agenda items not subject to public comment. Items require a consensus. Council have any future agenda items I'd like to bring up tonight?
You go first, because you take the longest, so.
I take the longest. Thank you, thank you. No, I just want to make sure the, all our updates and all our projects, in the city, where's our final, operation as far as our engineering and our city planning and everything, where we at, and at the end of the year, if it's possible, what we have on the horizon as far as almost all the projects should be finished,
And
as far as grants and everything, and I asked, David earlier if he give me an update of where we at on the Avalwood, issue as far as the communication line, with the railroad, where we're at. He said he'll get back to us, and I'm hoping put it on the horizon on him, so he'd get back to us on it.
And to speak to that point, in my last couple of weekly reports, I've included in there a link to a dashboard that has all the projects that are currently going and
Once they're finished, and
which ones are finished, which ones are
in place.
moving forward and going on. That's been shared with Jose as well, so that way we can get that dashboard online for our residents as well.
Yeah,
And we'll continue to provide those updates.
because I want the citizens, put it online. I want the citizens to be aware of what is transforming in our city, what is moving forward, and Jose is very valuable too with the city and giving that information to communication. The word is communication to the citizens. And that's in the past it was lacking. Now we're moving forward in a different era. We're stepping into the future, I should say, communication. is the key in life. If you don't communicate, you can't get nothing done.
Thank you. Councilman Oseguera.
Well, that way, 'cause I forgot what I was gonna say.
Councilman Trujillo, did you have anything? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple of things. I just wanted to confirm with Director Hahn in regards to the street signs to see where we are, if that project is still pending or where we are, because there's some people saying that their signs haven't been replaced yet. And then, so if we can get an update on that, that would be great. Oh, and then also, I just wanted to ask in regards to the AI program, when will council be able to utilize the AI?
Which one?
That's a good
Madison.
question.
Yeah.
Let me get back
Madison.
to you on
Okay.
that. I think it's just a login with your email and password. So
Okay.
let me verify and get back to you on
Everybody
that.
knows.
Mayor, members of council, if I might, just for a second, it's a matter of us just assigning you account. You actually have an email with us, and so that's something that we can ask IT to complete over the next week and get that rolled out to you.
Sub-user, so you can track usage.
Yes.
Sounds good. Okay, can we get the cost to renovate the old Selma High so we can see how much it would cost to turn that into a sports center, recreation center? I know we talked about this, ask the city engineer, go take a look on a walkthrough with you, city manager, if you're available, just to eyeball. I know you looked at the outside with Liz, but maybe the inside so you can see the interior, maybe brainstorm a little bit because there are a few pillars in there. There's some work to be done. If you could
Yes.
take a look at that. And then the park and ride, I think that's very promising because we need more parking. Now that we've reduced the number of parking spaces, as everyone knows, on High Street, the park and ride's important. We're not gonna get it till, it sounds like 6/27. If we get it then, design is this year and then construction is the year after that. So
Sometimes,
completion
I think that's what
27.
he said. And then sometimes I would have to look at what the FTIP, and that's the Federal Transportation Improvement Program.
Right.
And they put those fundings in different years for planning 1 year, design 1 year, and then construction in another year. That's how the state and feds allocate money.
Sense of time.
Yes.
And then, so we have a little more urgency here because we're looking for the parking spaces, the old police station. I'm not necessarily knocking down that block wall there, but maybe opening it up a little bit. Actually just opening it up to the public. So we could have some overflow parking there. And is there a consensus for all these items that have been discussed tonight?
Sure.
Is everybody good with that? Okay,
I have an item.
go for it.
I just want to get a report on Thompson Park. We understood that everything was already ready to go, but there was no report given. There was a problem with, who was it?
CID.
CID, and I heard that they met with them and they were able to come to an agreement to go ahead and take care of that. That's gonna be probably later on known as, with a huh? Oh, you were gonna say that? Well, if you let me finish.
Okay.
Just also, this is not a future agenda item, but Selma Live will be, our next event will be March 6th. And we're trying to make it a country night, to have like a country band and then have line dancing, and somebody teaching line dancing. So you can come in your boots and your hat and stuff. That's all I have.
We're allowed that night.
Yeah, I'm sure I can think of something else, but right now,
All right, we'll move on to council reports. Councilman Trio? Almost.
We'll be here all night now. No, I'm kidding you, man.
you're not kidding.
Okay, I actually, I attended the downtown small business event. It was good turnout, guys. It was a little cold, thank goodness for the hot chocolate, the cookies and all the little goodies that, people, and the prizes, the raffle prizes. but it was a good, I seen the people, even it was pretty good because even though on a, I call it after Thanksgiving, I call it Black Friday week where, you know, things are going on and after Thanksgiving, but you know what? People came out. I was surprised people came out and I was impressed and the numbers showed it. And it's all about communication to the public. The more you communicate to the public what is taking place in your event, that's the key. And I noticed that, you know, and I think Channel 26, they broadcasted it, you know, and I think Mr. Jose, your connections with the television issue, you know, which is an asset to the city of Selma. And I thank you for that. And I also thank people behind you that help you out. And I mean, the volunteers, the small business that contribute. There, you know, one person can't do it all. It's all about working together and getting it done. And I see that more. So communicating together. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Oscara?
What is the cohort before this, right? The cohort 19 graduation was wonderful to see all these young men and women getting ready to go out there in the workforce, and hopefully they'll be able to get, you know, good jobs out there in the trades. Would you like to?
You can say out there.
Yeah, Jim was there. Oh, and he also gave a 30-minute speech. But on another note, no, I just want to say thank you to Jose for doing a wonderful job advertising everything for us. Everything was been really good. So thank you. We really needed that position. Margie, thank you for the coffee. It was good. So now I know you can prepare it right. So, other than that, I just want to say, you know, we have a good team. Council and city, city manager. Sorry, I keep calling you Justin, but you know, I'll get it right. Yeah, Jason. But, you know, we finally have a good team. We're moving in a positive manner. I know we're not going to please everybody all at once or, you know, but we try our best, you know, when money allows. But the retirees, we will not forget you. We will look at it again and try to do as much as we can. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That's good.
Well, I did attend a boxing match for one of our local boys here, Justin Fuentes, that is doing an outstanding job. In fact, he's now 6-0, and I really do think and believe in him that he's going to have a great future in the boxing world. So that was it. That was a really great event. I also want to say a special thank you to Margie for everything you've done, Margie, with especially with the issues that we've had. And I'll tell you, I don't know what we would have done without you. So I want to really thank you for everything you've done and making our lives a little easier. Jose Moreno, your outstanding work with really advertising the city of Selma, really putting us out there. I've been getting so many compliments in regards to, hey, I saw you guys on Channel 26. You know, city of Selma's really blooming. You know, we wouldn't have that if we didn't have you. And that's what it takes. You know, if we want to step it up, that's what it takes. So I want to thank you. I want to thank staff. Jason, thank you for giving us the updates. You've been here 2 weeks, and I think so far, I love what I see. Thank you for everything you're doing. Neil, again, outstanding work you've done for us. I mean, I don't know how we would have got through this issue without you. Thank you. I hope now that, you know, we can move this city forward in a positive manner because that's what we're getting. You know, we get so much compliments now from the citizens. They're so thankful. They're loving what they're seeing. They love their city. The kids are happy, and that's what it's about. So again, making our staff happy, our citizens happy, that's what we're here for. And you know, like I said, we're doers, and I want to continue doing that. Thank you.
Thanks. As you heard, Councilman Oscara and I sat for interviews for the Animal Services Manager. Thank you for Deputy City Manager, for making that happen. I know there's another round of interviews this week or next week on Thursday. Looking forward to hearing the results of that. That'd be interesting. We had Parveen Sandhu with us, who was the previous director of Second Chance Animal Shelter. That was several years ago. That shelter was, they were evicted, their lease by the city, and then the city sued them. How things have changed. Parveen was on that that side because the city wanted their login for their information, and now she's sitting and interviewing for the animal services manager. Things have changed for the better in our city, and that's a big sign of it. We're doing things to help our citizens again. We're doing things, we're outwardly looking at our city, at our people, at focusing on the animal issues here. We're focusing on having entertainment for the citizens, making it a safe, fun place to work. We are making changes, but like they say, if a tree falls in the forest, nobody's around. Did it happen? Who knows? But in Selma, we're doing all these great things, and we've got a great person in our comms director, our communications director, promoting that. We need that promotion. That's really, really helpful. We're marketing our city. Remember, people used to say, sell Selma. Why aren't you selling Selma? Well, we are selling Selma now. And we're selling a real viable product, something that's good, not a bunch of words, not just throwing a bunch of money at something, and not just going along to get along. No, we got spirit, as you saw tonight. And you know, you got issues up here and we debate them because we care. We care. All of us care. And that's why we're here to do that. Small Business Saturday, that was a real good move forward for our fixed businesses and our small businesses. The boxing fight with Jordan, the Brazen Bull Fuentes, you know, that was a great fight. Local boy made good. And then I was in the color run. That was a lot of fun. Very colorful. Well, I showed up. But Central Valley Training Center graduation cohort 19, a lot of dedicated kids. I mean, young people who are in that. And some of them work while they go to that. So, I mean, these are really, really hard workers, just amazing people. And then finally, I attended the FCRTA, the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency meeting, and the Fresno Council of Governments meetings where the Measure C allocations were voted on. It's gonna be a really big deal. The next one is the implementation plan that's gonna be voted on, and it will come back to council. So we'll be seeing that really soon. And if anybody wants to talk about that, let me know. We can discuss that because it's, that was a long meeting and they're only gonna get longer from here once that implementation plan comes out. There's a lot of healthy debate about that, which there should be. Over a several $billion measure over 30 years, there should be debate on how that public money is spent, just like we were debating tonight, how public money is spent. So everybody, thank you for coming out tonight. We're gonna move on to our last oral communications.
I have a comment before you
Sure.
go.
Yep.
I just want to say that this guy right here, he has a lot of energy. He went around that thing like 20 times at the 5K.
It was only 19.
I mean, I saw him go once, twice, 3 times, and then he went and walked with the girls, and then I'm like, dude, slow down. I got tired just watching this guy.
It was AI. It wasn't me. Yeah. Come on up.
Good job.
Thank you, Councilman.
I have a question. When you approved the annexation of the northern part of the city, you talked about the getting started on the sewer down Danube Avenue. I was just wondering, have you made any progress on that yet? The financing and getting started putting that sewer in?
Right. The line of credit is there. It's just a matter of getting the approvals and moving forward on it and bidding the job out. City manager, I know you're looking at that with the city engineer for the future. Thank you.
Yeah, we saw how fast Amberwood took off once we put that sewer in, and I'd like to see the development down Danube Avenue do the same thing.
It actually started in 2002. Can you believe that? Amberwood started in 2002. So it's been a long process. And I also want to thank the citizens of Selma for financing the project. So that's really good. That's what can happen when the citizens do put their best foot forward. Thank you.
It's it's nice to hear about the 10-acre park. Previous council stopped the Rockwall Pond Park. Every time I see all these soccer kids, Selma really needs to either go back and look at that grant that was, I believe, $4.5 million state grant that was allocated for the Rockwall Pond. Back when it was previous council, we requested to see this letter that the state stated that it was okay to use that grant for of $5.5 million for that 10-acre park. Of course, we weren't allowed to get anything during that time. So I would like to eventually see what is happening with Rockwall Pond. I believe it was requested at council to possibly bring that back to look at. And I know that 10-acre park is also coming. But we want to make sure that's all accurate in paper, stated in writing. A bunch of words were a bunch of words at one time. But now that we have that opportunity with the new council and new city manager, I really would like to see that letter for the state that states they were allowed to use that $4.5 million for that 10-acre park. Because if it's not, we need to move quickly back to Rockwall Pond or possibly start looking at that, because I think flat land just for soccer kids to be able to have practice and work out and have some games would be, is very much needed in our city of Selma. So hopefully that'll be something we could look into. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody online or on the phone?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
That we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We'll see you in 2 weeks.